Alright, so welcome back everybody. So for this video, I am going to be reviewing the cards from the Guild's expansion of Dominion. Now, this is actually probably my most hated expansion. For a while, Prosperity was my most hated expansion, but because this is a smaller expansion is the reason why I hate it more than Prosperity. I find a lot of the cards in here are just kind of so-so. Some of them I like, some of them I really like. But most of them I just find okay or so-so or just sort of boring. And there's definitely a couple in here that I just do not like at all. So let's get started talking about the pros and cons of this expansion, at least in my eyes. So obviously the first card is my most favorite card in the expansion. With this card, Soothsayer, you get a gold every time you play it. That's cool. And then it's an attack card, so you're giving your opponents minus point cards. But what I find really fascinating about this is while, yes, you're attacking your opponents, you are also helping them out in a way as well, because everyone who was attacked also gets to draw a card, which is interesting. So they're getting a minus point card, but they're also getting to draw a card to their hands. That's interactive, and obviously at least better than just simply getting attacked, obviously, but still it increases the chances that their next turn will be extra powerful because now they have an extra card. So yes, you're hurting them, but you're also helping them out at the same time. So it's kind of a double-edged sword for sure, but you are getting a gold, so it's totally worth playing. And of course, if one of your opponents had a reaction to block the attack, then they don't get the card either. So, you have to obviously get poisoned before you obviously get a benefit. So, but still, cool. I like this card a lot, and that's why it's my most favorite card in the expansion, Soothsayer. Okay, so this is another interactive card. I really like this a lot. You reveal cards from your deck, a few of them, 3 of them, and your opponent is your advisor. Okay, so the person to your left is your advisor. He's your opponent, of course, but he's your advisor. You've got to listen to what he says, what he's advising you to do, and he's going to choose a card and advise you to discard that card. So yes, he's going to advise you to discard your gold or your good action card and let you keep your coppers, because that's what he is. So he's not necessarily on your side for sure, but if you have a lot of good cards in your hand, you're still probably going to get some good cards with this card, obviously, and he's not going to be able to prevent you from getting everything. He's going to be like, oh man, this guy's got a gold, he's got 2 really good action cards. Ooh, and one of them is an attack. Ooh, it's Soothsayer. What should I do? I guess discard the Soothsayer. Yes, you can keep the gold, unfortunately, but yes, discard the Soothsayer, or something like that. Still, that's really fun, interactive, and obviously it's not an attack card, but it's a card that's interactive, and that's why it's my second favorite card in the expansion. Okay, so Herald is really fun to play with. The action part is really cool, because it's sort of like Vassal, actually, from the base game, but better because you're getting an action, so you can play another action card after this. But if you reveal an action card from your from your deck, after you play this, after you draw a card, of course, and the next card you reveal, if it's an action, you get to play it for free. Cool. I like that. It's awesome. Powerful. But it's not just simply a vassal or from the base game. It's also sort of like a harbinger as well from the base game as well, because this is a card you can overpay for. Now, in this expansion, that's one thing this expansion has. You can overpay for cards in this expansion. That's really cool. And there's some really cool benefits for overpaying for the card. Some of the cards, I might not like the action so much, but the overpay is kind of interesting. And this one is cool because if you overpay for this card, if you choose to do that, so like let's say you spend 6 money on this card, even though you could potentially just buy this for 4, you could say I'm overpaying for it by 2 more, which is 6, right? And then for each treasure you overpaid, you get to go through your discard pile and put a card from your discard pile to the top of your deck. Now, if you have a lot of cards sitting in your discard pile and you buy this at the right time and you overpay for it, you could potentially be putting a lot of good cards sitting in your discard pile to the top of your deck. I love that idea. That's a really cool effect. This is why it's one of my favorite cards in this expansion. It's really cool. I love this card. It probably would almost be it's probably actually my second favorite, not my third favorite when I think about it now, because of that extra benefit too. So, cool card. Herald. I love that card. Okay, so Plaza. This is a good village variant. That's going to reward you if you hold on to some of your coppers, because you may discard a treasure card. If you do, you get a coin token. So maybe you have a certain amount of money and you already know what you're going to buy, but you don't need the extra treasure that a copper would obviously give you. So if you had a copper, you could discard it to get a coin token and save that basically treasure for a future turn. That's really cool. But if you don't hold on to your coppers, you're most likely not going to discard a silver or a gold for the effect, because that would be pointless. That would be almost wasteful, actually. You know, that would be very wasteful for sure. But that's what makes this village variant cool, because of that. If you are not going to hold on to your coppers, then this is just a village. That's basically all it is, right? So, anyways, but still, I really like the card. That's why it's one of my favorites. Plaza. Okay, so this is my fifth favorite. It's basic, it's easy, it's simple. You get a coin token, you get a card, you get an action. Cool, I like that. But the setup is interesting. Everybody gets to start with a coin token. I like that idea. I like all these extra setups some of these cards give you. So it's not just Crocodile from the Cornucopia expansion. Also, Guilds has a special setup. I like that idea, getting a coin token to start with. That's really cool. It really changes the way you play the game in the first 2 turns of the game if you have a coin token to start off with. That really is cool. That's why it's my 5th favorite card, because it potentially changes the first 2 turns of play. That is awesome. I love that. And that's why Baker is my 5th favorite card. Okay, so the rest of these cards are either so-so or I just absolutely hate the card. Starting with Stonemason. This was actually a card I used to hate. The action part of the card, I don't really particularly like. But I have found myself overpaying for this card on many occasions, because when you buy this, you may overpay for it. If you do, you gain 2 action cards, each costing the amount you overpaid. So, what would be a good number to overpay for? Oh, I don't know. Overpay by 4. That means you're spending 6 money for this card. That means you're getting 2 action cards costing 4. That's cool. Get some extra action cards in the beginning of the game really fast, so that way you can play them even sooner. I like that idea of the Stonemason. That's a really cool effect. I like that. Overpay for it. If you could overpay for it by that much, of course. By 4, if you could. But even 3 would be nice, because, overpay for it by 3, you could get a couple of silvers or something like that, for instance. So, Stonemason is an okay card. The overpay is really cool, though. Okay, so you have a hard time getting rid of your minus point cards. That must mean you need a doctor. Where's the doctor when you need one? Well, here it is. What seems to be ailing you? Oh, it's those curse cards. They're ailing me in a big way. Oh, yes. So name that curse card and then reveal top 3 cards of your deck. Ooh, there's a curse there. Trash it. Put the rest back in any order. That's basically the card. That's cool. I like that idea. And it's kind of thematic in that sense. If you, obviously, that's obviously very thematic, too. Now, the overpay is basically the same thing. When you buy this, you can overpay for it. And for each money you overpaid for it, you can look at the top card of your deck, trash it, discard it, or put it back. So, if you overpay for it a bit, you could also get the doctor working for you to your advantage even sooner, which is cool. I like that. Of course, if you're going to put it back and you overpaid for it by 3, and the first card you put back, well, you're just going to keep putting that card back, right? So you're better off discarding it and seeing what's underneath, unless it's a really good one, obviously. But that's still really interesting, the doctor. That's the doctor for you. Okay, so the Candlestick Maker is just kind of a boring card. You get an action, you get a buy, you get a coin token. Pretty simple, but pretty boring. And it's okay. Okay, so Journeyman. Journeyman is an okay card, I find. Once again, you can name a card, and then you reveal cards from your deck until you reveal 3 cards that aren't the one you named, getting to put them into your hand. Okay, and you discard the rest. So you could name out a copper, or that pesky minus point card, or some victory card, maybe an estate or something like that, to ensure that you get something else. Now, of course, there's all these different choices here that you might not want, so you might still get some of the other ones you don't want either, which is why I just find it an okay card. It's just okay. Okay, so Merchant Guild, it's okay, but it's boring, okay? If you buy a card while it's in play, you get a coin token. Pretty boring, basic. That's why it's just simply okay. And obviously the action effect is stupid. Okay? But yes, that's why it's okay. Because the buy thing is okay. Getting a coin token when you buy a card while it's in play. It's okay. But the action is awful. Okay, so Masterpiece. This is kind of a silver strategy because you can overpay for the Masterpiece. For every treasure you overpaid, you get a silver. That's cool. You could get this. You could, if you had only 5 money and you were already planning on buying a silver anyways because you just don't have that many silvers or something like that, you could buy this instead, which is the same price as the silver, and you could get 2 silvers too. So, it's okay. It's okay. Okay, so the Butcher. Now, I hate this card. It is powerful, but I hate it. Okay, it gives you two coin tokens. This is why I hate it. It gives you 2 coin tokens, and then you may trash a card from your hand and then pay any number of coin tokens. If you do, you gain a card costing up to the trash card plus the number of coin tokens. So let's say you used this to, trash a minus point card. Well, you would use those 2 coin tokens to what? Gain an action card costing 2 or an estate? I mean, if you had other coin tokens, you could get something better, probably, yes. But it defeats the point of getting those coin tokens if you're just getting them temporarily because you're going to be using them right away to get something that's just slightly better what you're trashing. Yes, you could potentially trash an action card costing 5, and if you had another coin token lying around, you could turn the action card into a province, and that's powerful, yes. But I just, there's other cards that do this. There's Remodel and there's Expand, and those cards don't give you coin tokens, but they do the desired effect of trashing a good card for a better card. And I like that aspect better than this one because it's a dull reason to get the coin tokens. I just wish they didn't do it that. And then, of course, if you decide you don't want to trash a card and you want to play this anyways, you're getting two coin tokens, but that's all you're getting, which you at least could save for later, I suppose. But I just find that completely boring, completely waste of time if you're just going for it for the coin tokens. I just don't like this. I hate this card. But now you understand my reasons why I hate it. And yes, it's powerful for sure. Okay, so this is my most hated card in the expansion, Taxman. I find myself, when I play this card, having an awful turn every time I play it because even though it's sort of like Mine from the base game, now if you remember Mine from the base game, you trash a treasure card and you get a better treasure card right after it. Like you trash a copper and you turn it into a silver, you trash a silver, you turn it into a gold. Well, that silver and that gold, because you're playing Mine, they're going into your hand. That's good. This is an attack card that lets you first trash a treasure from your hand, and then everybody who has a copy of that treasure, they're going to discard it. So yeah, they get to discard a copper. Ooh, that's cut purse. Oh, I hate that. Ooh, it's a silver. Which, if they have a silver, hey, that's awesome. But now I still have a horrible turn because, you see, I'm not getting to put that card into my hand. It's going to the top of my deck, not to my hand. I hate that. That's 2 cards out of 5 that I've just wasted. One that's not going into my hand. The other, which didn't give me a benefit at all, except getting to attack my opponent and putting that new treasure card on top of my deck for my next turn. So this is like wasting my turn because now I only have 3 cards. What are the chances I have like a card in there that's got 2 actions or something like that, or a gold or a silver? So it really, really wastes my turn. I've had awful turns with this Taxman, or there's been times where I've had 2 Taxmans in my hand and I'm just like, that's awful for me. So yeah, I would just rather hold on to my coppers and buy silvers and golds rather than go through this mess. The attacking part is not worth it in my eyes, because if you're just discarding their copper, it doesn't, the benefit definitely does not outweigh the attack for sure because of that reasoning. Because you can just simply gain a copper, you could gain a silver pretty easily anyway. And there are better ways to trash coppers. Way better than this, for sure. That's why I hate Taxman. But now you understand my reasons why I hate this card. Some people might like this attack, but this is definitely an attack I hate very much. Anyways, so that's the Guild's expansion. So if you guys liked this video, don't forget to leave a like, and I'll see you guys again next time. Thank you guys for watching.